Hey, hey, hey. Happy Sunday. Welcome, everyone, to just our impromptu chat around what the heck is the Legacy Arts District that you may have been seeing a little bit of noise about on my page, Mark's page, all these beautiful people's pages, and also something that just went out in the Lima News about a week and a half ago that I've been getting a ton of questions about. So I was like, you know what? Let's just grab a majority of the crew that's part of this thing that we're doing, this movement, if you will, called Legacy Arts. And I'm calling it Legacy Arts District because I'm really like imagining this big thing to come, which we're going to break down today. But the purpose of today is really to answer your questions, introduce some of the amazing thought leaders and heart-centered visionaries around this thing, and just kind of just bring you in to what we're thinking and what we're planning. So before that, I just want to introduce everyone. So hello, everybody. Thanks for joining on a Sunday evening. Mark, I'm going to kick things off with you to introduce yourself and your beautiful other half beside you, and then we'll kind of go around our Brady bunch of squares to introduce everyone of who we have on with us, and then talk about what this is.
There you go.
Well, hey, thanks, Jessica. Thanks for organizing this as the tech wizard of the group. For anyone that doesn't know who I am, my name is Mark Boker, and this is my wife, Angie.
Hi.
And we own the building where the Legacy Arts group hangs out. And that's the home of Alter Ego Comics and now Marketing Group, the future home of Purple Feet Wine Boutique, and the current / future home of Ruske's Records / Legacy Sounds. So kind of the backstory here is that we bought this building 11 years ago as a home for Alter Ego. We had outgrown the space that we were renting, and we needed space that allowed us to do retail in the front end of the shop and shipping, receiving out of the back end of the shop. And it suited all of our needs, but it's this big 100-year-old building with 3 floors. And the thought back in 2009 was, yeah, it'd be great if we could do something with that building someday, but it wasn't high on our list of priorities. And as the years have gone by, we've thought about it more and more. And through our relationship with Omar and Kayla, and with Jennifer and Sarah over at the Meeting Place and Shop for Good, and now with Jessica and Melanie and Elisa, we've decided that now is the time to develop the building and to kind of be the home base to entrepreneurs and artists that have the same vision of helping to grow small business in downtown Lima, and also supporting the local artists in our communities, or our community, whether that's through music, visual art, or commerce that kind of embraces those things. And so we initially were going to move into a different property to do this. We were going to move over to the Central District, and that's where the district word, I think, comes into this, and has stuck with us as Legacy Arts has evolved. But for a number of reasons, it just didn't work out. And, you know, we wish everyone over there the best, and we're excited to see new business in that part of town. For me, it was appealing to think about kind of going into an underdeveloped section of Lima and being there on the ground floor and helping to develop that, since we've been downtown for 16 years. But it turns out it made more sense for us to stay where we are and to develop the building that we own, that we have kind of complete control over. And so we invited a bunch of people that we like to rent space in the building, and that's kind of where we are now.
I love it. You have like the stories that most start out with. It's like, I start out in my house and then kind of take over, whether it's the garage or whatever area, and then you find a building, and then you're just like keep growing, and it keeps changing and shifting, and you never know, but you're always open to the possibility of what's to come. And I think, Omar, you have kind of a similar story. You're like one of the natives, and then go out and then come back. And I would love to hear a little bit about you, and then just the involvement that you've had in this process too.
Yeah, definitely. No, thank you so much. Omar Zahari. This is my fiance, Kayla Nocera. That's my first time I get to say that, so that's pretty exciting. So, Yeah, so a little bit of my background. I grew up in Lima. Out of high school, myself and a few guys I grew up playing music with decided that we wanted to kind of do it full time and see what was kind of out there. And we were lucky to be able to, release records, to tour around the world, play thousands of shows, and just connect with audiences that kind of cared about what it was that we were doing. Kind of fast forward, coming back home and getting reacquainted with what was happening in music here and realizing that there was really genuine artists that were creating stuff that was, moving us, but didn't exactly know what to do with that. And it was like, well, let's go for a ride. Let's figure out what we can do together. And it was through that we grew out of, as you're talking about, like out of the house that I was living at in Woodlawn into extra space that Jennifer Brogy at the Meeting Place had, to kind of grow and show people that what this town is really capable of when you nurture artists. When you take a moment to realize that that there is stuff going on, you just kind of have to look under the surface. So for the last 7 years, we've been doing nonprofit creative development for area musicians, area artists. It's through what we've been doing that you got hip, Jessica, to what it is that we were doing and helping us set up a website, be engaged with the community. People like Jennifer giving us her space, trusting us with this thing to create, really incredible music. And now, Mark also, putting us in his back room and allowing us to continue that and expand on it. So, as far as what we've been doing, it's been exciting all along, but now it kind of feels like we've hit a stride through the hangs and mentorship of all you lovely people. So just
I
kind
think
of
I love that. I love that you said it's been exciting all along, because when you came back, you just came back with this passion, and you just like came into my office, I remember, and you're just like, here's the vision. I don't really have it all figured out yet, but here's what I'm wanting to do, like what I'm wanting to see, and that energy that, can really bring Lima alive, right? Like in just nurturing the people that are here. And I love that both your fiance now, which I love saying that too, because you guys are like the cutest ever, as well as Mark and Angie, but both of your significant others are even involved in, the educational system. So working with like the next generation, right? And bringing it up. So it's kind of just this, it's really cool to see everyone that's involved in their what they're involved with in the community, and just bringing all this together. Because you wouldn't think, okay, a musician, and then a comic book shop and e-commerce business, and then a marketing, a digital agency, and then moving to Chef Alyssa, with you are a staple of this community too. So I'd love for you to introduce yourself. But it's like, what do all of us together, what does that look like, right? So first, let's introduce you, and then break it down to what this does look like, and why we're doing this together.
It's exciting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody thinks so many different things could come together and be so cool, but that's what this is. I'm Elisa. I grew up here, went to culinary school on the East Coast, came back home. My family opened a restaurant in Findlay, and then we ended up in Lima. So we did that for a long time. And along the way, I met Mel, and she came along to the Fat Cat, and we did the diner there for a long time. And then we started catering and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And we also have an online business. So we've been trying to figure that out, which, wow, you guys are so good at all of that. And so anyway, so we wanted to open a wine shop. And Mel's like, oh, hey, this space is open. She walked in to talk to Mark, and Mark's like, oh, well, maybe, and then I came, and then you're like, well, somebody signed the lease today, and we're like, and he was like, but, yeah, and I was like, yeah, we're like, we love her. And then you kind of showed us the whole vision, and we're like, ding, this feels good. And that's what we want to be part of, is something that feels good and that we can add our energy to and help really
Share creative
Yeah,
energies, collaborations, visions for improvement of downtown and bringing people back downtown for
and keeping
entertainment
people.
and retail. And we see the vision and we really want to be a part of
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Yeah, so I love that this came out of 2020, right? Like, so all of us were making these decisions in 2020. Now, Omar, you came back. I mean, this was a couple years coming, and I love that each of our stories are different. So, Mark, you've been like Lima native forever, right? Same with me. No, not forever. Where did you come before?
Wait, sorry, I had to unmute myself. I'm from Detroit. I moved here 20 years ago.
I'm the
She's
Lima
the
native.
Lima native.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I moved here, left my job. That's the Angels. I left my job in Detroit on a Friday and started working at the Chamber here the following Monday.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like trial by fire, and it was a really great place to work for 5 years to get to know the business community, to get to know the nonprofit community. And 3 years into my job at the Chamber is when I started the e-commerce business. So I started that in 2003 and was still working that full-time job at the Chamber, and was able to realize after 18 months that this was worth giving it a go. And I wanted to be in downtown. I mean, I could think of no other place to go. And the spot where For the Love of Quilts is now.
We had outgrown our house. We did it at the house.
Well, we did run it out of the house. Yeah.
As
And
all great
I had to move it out of the house, or I would be run out of the house.
Yeah.
By my wife.
There was just too much stuff, like too many packages coming in. And
But I think that's the thing. Let's see. So I think I don't know, Mel, where did you grow up?
I actually grew up in Van Wert and Salina, but have pretty much been working and halfway living in Lima since I was 21. I started working here as a bartender, and then a few years later just moved here and have just been in my 20s. And then in my 30s, I got a college education and applied that, and then met Chef Elisa, and 8 years later, here we are.
And Elisa, is your family from the East Coast or from here?
My mom grew up in Connecticut. My dad's from Lima. So after he got out of service, they moved to Lima. So pretty much Lima.
Yeah. So I do think I know we've all run into people who are from outside of the community or didn't grow up here, but now they live here. And I'm willing to bet that 99% of those people love Lima. And they just don't understand how anyone can't appreciate the pace here, the cost of living here, the ability to go out and run into people that when you go to the grocery store or you go out to dinner. And you don't get that in a major metropolitan city. It's almost impossible.
the ability to run your own business.
Yeah, and I think maybe would all of us be doing what we're doing if we lived in a bigger city? I don't know. I think we all might be working for somebody else if we lived in a bigger city.
I don't know. I have the ability to work from anywhere, right? And any of us could start something somewhere. But I love the fact that it's all about what you do with what you got where you're at, right? So I love the fact that we've seen what else is out there. And I have people, I run an event, Social Media Lima, each year, except for 2020, we did that online. But when I bring people into the community, they see the care that people have for the community. And like you said, Mark, the living. And I love saying to everyone that comes in here, you can be as well known or as unwell known as you want to be here. I do feel like this community is the foundation of possibilities, but it does take some work and, kind of putting your roots in, so to speak, to watch it grow. And Omar, you lived here. You went out, you did big things, and then came back and took those skill sets to grow this community. All of us, I feel like, have done that. And I love seeing some of the people in the comments here. Dr. Josh Hayes said, awesome new things for Lima, and Art District is much needed in our city. I know you are also doing big things with, the mural projects that we have around our community, and just taking the skill sets that we have and really using them for good. So this starting in 2020, though, is kind of strange to some people, I think. I got a ton of questions because I started my business first in downtown Lima. Well, my house first, let's be honest, and then the coffee shop, like most tech companies do. Shout out to Peggy Recker and letting me put down the starting point in her coffee shop at Big B. but then got my first office space in downtown Lima, right next to the meeting place. I loved what they were doing, and Jennifer and her family, like just doing with the meeting place. And I wanted to be beside, that energy. And it was like the smallest freaking office ever, like that I had, but I was so proud and so excited for it. And Omar, I love hearing you talk about your first space, because I remember that as well. And you're like, we don't have a bathroom, but we got some people that are here, and anybody that's been to a space, you never cared, right? When you went there, it was just like this good vibe place to go and hang out, and you could see the possibilities. So I love watching that grow. But I moved my office to Elida because a bigger space, team was growing, right? And in 2020, my team doubled, but I realized like the fact that I don't need this space, because we all were doing things from, our homes and could do it that way, which very fortunate for that. But I was like, you know what, if I can either get rid of this space altogether, because paying for nobody being there all year, I looked at what I paid and I was like, oh my God, this was a waste. But then I was like, do I stay at home, or do I take that space and move it somewhere? And that's where I started looking. And it was just like the universe kind of showing me the sign. As soon as I logged on, I seen Mark posting that Beauty by Jill had got a new space in this beautiful open space, downtown Lima. It was my celebration of my 10 years in business. I was like, this is full circle. It's meant to be. So I reached out to Mark, and I think it was like, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks later, I signed and got the lease the day of, right before you guys, Chef Elisa was looking and Mel was looking at that space. But I think it worked out perfect, because we all have this insight of doing something in Lima to change it for good. The reason I kept an office space was because of wanting to have a spot. I'm like, if I get rid of this, all the internship and the students I work with, I'm not going to have the ability to serve them anymore, and I would be very disconnected. So that's what made me want to kind of start looking for a place and being connected to what you were doing, Mark and Omar, and just all of that energy again, like being brought back to our community in a time that I feel like really needs it,
Just being downtown feels really good. When we had the diner for a few years, just the people and the energy. And then we kind of did some catering. So we weren't really downtown for a couple years or a year or so.
Yeah.
And then we started working out of the Civic Center again. And I remember saying, man, it just feels really good to be back downtown. The people here are great.
Yeah.
And just to capitalize and move on with that would be amazing. Just to be able to work with all the people downtown again. And
Yeah, and it's just like what you were saying, Jessica, about why you were so attracted to that space next to the meeting place, right? Like you wanted to be around the energy, and that's exactly what we feel here every time we're together. There's things that Mark and Angie have been able to help us with in terms of our business, and I feel like that's what really keeps us going is we're excited business owners, so we kind of feed into each other's energy, and we're able to help each other through those roadblocks too.
And it's also, even it's the same foundation of what's happening in the studio, because it's all about collaboration. It's like you are a talented individual by yourself doing cool stuff. But can you imagine, the energy that's created when you have multiple people that are working with each other, respecting what each other is doing and growing those ideas. And you just watch those kind of sparks fly. And I think that, there are a few of us in this town that kind of think this way. And that's why, we needed to get together so that we can fuel each other, continue and expand. And we are so lucky to be a part of that kind of community. And people pay attention to a party too, people have a good time. So when they see people doing that, that's one thing that there's no doubt in my mind that other people are going to look at what we're doing. And I hope that other business owners, other building owners open up their spaces to kind of invite that kind of thing in, because nothing but great will come from that.
And I think that's the word that I've used from day one, and not just day one of Legacy Arts, but day one of opening Alter Ego downtown in 2005 was potential. And the potential in downtown Lima, in Allen County is unlimited. And it's getting just kind of people that are willing to take a chance, that are willing to maybe be a little crazy, see things differently than maybe they've been seen over the last 25 or 50 years, to create this space, and now specifically about downtown Lima, that rivals Short North in Columbus, or the Oregon District in Dayton, or Yellow Springs. And that's one of the visions that we have, that Angie and I have, and I know all of you share that too, is to develop the second and third floors of this building so that we have some second floor retail. And that's not a foreign concept in Columbus or in the Oregon District or in Yellow Springs, or in cities outside of Ohio. But we need more retail. We need more of the arts. We need more entertainment. We need to give people things to do and give our young people a reason to stay. And that's what we're focused on, is creating those experiences, not only for people that want to attend them, but also for people who want to create them.
Yeah, it's like creating the change, the things that you want to be a part of, instead of complaining about it or wishing for it. It's like, the things that you want, like if you don't see it happening, then create it, one. And two, I feel like being a business owner and starting and having this vision, it can be really, really, really isolating, and you can feel alone at times. And I love the fact of being, one, a visionary, but then two, being vulnerable about that and saying, hey, I don't know what this fully looks like yet, but I do know that I want what's good for our community. And I do know that I want to do big things. And I do know that by us doing it together, there's strength in that. And that we're not only serving, our business and what our dream is, but we also have the capacity to change the community. We're just all of us doing a little bit and coming together. So I think that's what's really, really beautiful about it. I know, with Fat Cat, that was my favorite place to get a chicken sandwich. So like, I love like just all of what you were doing there. But like, you had some struggles, right, with that. All of us have went through, peaks and valleys with business. That's just the name of the game. But you could have easily said, okay, this happened, I'm going to walk away and just kind of let it go and be just pessimistic about it. But you didn't. You kept coming back and showing up, which is just so inspiring.
You have to. And I think that's the thing about business owners. And you're right. There are struggles. It's honestly easier to go clock in and clock out. It really is. Like, but is it going to fill your heart? Is it going to feed your soul? No. You got to do what you do. You have to do. And if you have to create and make music and make art and
Make food
and make all these incredible experiences for people, you have to do that. You're not going to be okay not doing that. And as much as I went through those little times where I'm like, I can't do this anymore, I don't want to do this, back, forth, whatever. Heck yeah, let's do it. And not everybody gets that. A lot of people don't understand that.
And just getting back up and having the support of everyone in the community is huge. And I think you definitely have that. And so going back though, like the vision now, Mark, of what's been talked about, I think it would be really cool to share what that is just a little bit. Like I said, we don't all have it figured out yet. But when you mentioned creating this destination and where the Legacy Arts District kind of comes into play, what that vision is, and some of the things that we do know for sure that's going to happen, and what's in the works, I think is super exciting to share out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And what this building will look like, hopefully by April-ish, is Now Marketing Group is moved in fully at 226 North Main. Purple Feet is moved in fully and up and operating, sharing space with Alter Ego. And Russ Gaze Records / Legacy Sounds, the studio is up and running. And then we have the lab, which is the live event space at the back of the building where Omar and Kayla are now. That's going to get a facelift. We're going to have a glass garage door that's installed there that opens up onto the Casa Volunteer Park next door, which is beautiful, and will allow us to do outdoor events, both music and food and who knows what else? Cornhole tournaments? No, I don't know. Probably not. But and so that's kind of the first step. And all of this, of course, is COVID dependent. I'm optimistic that by the time, summer, maybe the end of summer rolls around, everyone's gotten their 2-dose vaccine and is able to go out and enjoy live music again in a larger setting, and we're able to do larger events. And that's why we've publicly planted a flag in Saturday, August 7th as the date for the Legacy Arts Street Party this year. Now, we held our first street party in 2019 over by the meeting place, and it was a lot of work. There were 6 of us involved with it. It was Angie did the work of 6 other people, and we had multiple bands, we had multiple vendors, we had food trucks, we had kids activities through Art Space Lima, and it was just an amazing day. And we were all fired up to do it in 2020, but of course we weren't able to do that. But we wanted to continue the momentum and continue the collaboration that is Legacy Arts. So Saturday, August 7th is the date. It's going to happen here on site, probably behind the building, maybe in front of the building. Who knows? We're still figuring that out, but we've got some time. And we're going to have local artists. We really want to focus on the local talent that we have here. This isn't a, bring in a headliner band from the West Coast. This isn't, bring in artists that aren't in our community. We want to celebrate what we have and appreciate what we have. So that's what we're going to do on the 7th. And then, knock on wood, Free Comic Book Day returns the following Saturday on the 14th of August. And, for an event that brings about 2,000 people downtown, I'm hoping that we have a bunch of cool new stuff to show them.
And I love that. And I love that you shared just like the first plans. And it's not even that, like the vision, like what you shared with me when I first came to check out the space, which I'd already been all in on you and working with you and just that energy that you have for our community. I love and sold very first time I met Omar and just what, you've been doing with just shining the light on the talented artists that are original artists playing their own music, that they're just going through this creative process. And I feel like it's just thrived that much more because now they know they're not alone, right? And they can bounce ideas off of one another. But it's that now the vision is, like you said, bringing those first plans of opening the space up, inviting in like this big community togetherness, which how much do we need that right now, right? But then also expanding potentially like the second and third floor of this over 100-year building that potentially could have the spots for those up and coming new businesses that then I'll help mentor, you'll help mentor. Like we can have this, this incubator for them to really kind of establish their business, learn from people that have been in the space and how to get their work, the name out of their business, and then have this destination. So when people come into our community or just the people that live in our community can come to downtown and shop, with that, maybe that new business that's selling their skill set, whatever that looks like, get some comics, come eat, listen to music that evening, and then the parents can drink wine with me in the back with what you guys are doing. But I'm really excited about it because unfortunately we hear just so much negativity about things in our community, and perception is the biggest problem that we have, I think. And there's so many people like what, the Met's doing and what the meeting place is doing. And with now roads, coming downtown, it's now like, if we can really latch on to this and keep it going, then it's not just going to be this, high hope thing that's then unfortunately let down. It's like, we can really have the power to transform our community, kind of starting from the inside out, starting with that downtown and working our way out. So I'm super pumped for that.
To expand on what you're saying, one of the things, because, Kayla and I both got to leave the community and come back. And so much of what we want to develop here is from going outside and seeing the things that we want to experience. And I feel like, it's through that we see the way other communities, entities, whether it's business, chambers, invest in creative economic development. You know, like I feel like being a town of our size, there's industry, there's, you know, the corporations that are here, there's the hospitals, and there's this thing that nobody's really paying attention to. And so much of the work that we're doing is in the retention of young, talented people, because it was what, you know, our past, and they're like, when do we get to, you know, fly this chicken coop? When do we get to, you know, go see the world? And it's like, you know, that's cool, but check this out, because you can do it from here. You should be able to do it from here. You shouldn't feel the need to leave your community to experience what you want. So I feel like if there is a foundation of what it is that we're doing, it's really based in the fact that it's like, we want to grow something that we feel is lacking and what we want to see expand on and evolve, you know. And it's not a matter of catching up to what another community is doing. It's what can we do to go past that and really be on the cutting edge of that.
I love that. I think, you know, having 3 daughters that are now teenagers, Lord help me, but it makes me feel like I want a place where they can go and hang out and they can be proud of and feel supported by their own community. I feel like that's the big thing when, you know, there's local acts brought in. It's like this mindset of maybe we have to bring in somebody from out of town in order to be talented. No, we have talent right here. Like we have what everything we need in this community. It's just taking time to listen and nurture and support them so they do want to stay here and create. You know, there's so many creators in our community. I really feel like Lima, how I explain it to everyone is like, Lima is a town of just really this entrepreneurial spirit. Like I've just seen so many creative minds and just, you know, the creators. I mean, here, it just takes a little bit of nurturing and listening and supporting. And whether that means you're starting at an empty space, but you have somebody like the Meeting Place and Jennifer, like willing to give people that space, right, to do it. Or you can walk into a business and somebody's going to help build you a website for free or whatever that looks like. But just supporting our own and realizing we'll all win if we do just that and really just take time to nurture our own versus kind of looking outside of our own community to get what it is that we need. Oh. Yeah, I think, Josh, you said VCN, veteran. I'm not sure what that stands for, maybe, but somebody else may know. But thank you. Anybody know what VCN is?
Shout out to Jay, because he has been at all of the events there.
Jay's a huge Legacy Arts supporter. Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, and Michael, definitely come check out the shop because it is open.
He said never pronounce Lima wrong either. I learned that day one.
yeah, for sure. A lot of people have come in too and called it Lima, and I'm like, no, Lima, that's okay. We got you. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot to do here, and really, like, I just wanted to jump on here from what was written in the Lima News, which I'm so thankful that they took time and listened to our story and shared it out and really shed the light on the events that had happened, because you guys know how to throw a freaking party, like all of you. And I love it because, you know, from Free Comic Book Day that brings in thousands, people come from out of town because it's a destination to go to that thing. And Omar from throwing, you know, Kayla throwing these freaking epic events that, you know, started out from, I think you had one at the Civic Center and at Vino and you guys' block party, and just so many people now excited about these kinds of events in the community that we can go out and so we just enjoy, you know, meeting other people and enjoying our community. I'm just really, really excited for what's to come. And I'm really excited for doing all of this with all of you. So even though we don't know fully, you know, our timeline yet because of COVID and because of, you know, just life, we do know what the overall purpose is. And that's what it takes. And if anything, I want to encourage anyone that's watching or going to listen to this in the replay of just finding your tribe of people and keep showing up. Don't give up. There are more people like you than you probably even realize, but it just takes being vulnerable and opening up and asking maybe asking for help, asking for what you need, or just even just mentioning to someone else, like, here's my vision. What do you think? Who should I talk to? Who should I connect with? And having those conversations, because it's only going to help you grow stronger and open up doors that you may not even have thought of yet. Because I wouldn't have thought of this a year ago. I really wouldn't, but I'm excited now, even more so. I'm like, it's going to be epic. That's the only word I keep coming back to. So, Mark, what's the best way for people to learn more about what we're doing? And how do you think we're going to be continuing to share this ongoing?
I think the best way right now is to follow Legacy Arts on Facebook. And I was thinking maybe we could drop a link in someplace, but there is a Legacy Arts Facebook page. And basically, Omar, Kayla, and I were talking about it before we went live. I think we're just going to drop anything related to anything happening in this building on that page. And, we've got grand visions, not just for this structure and for retail and that sort of thing, but also how do we give back to the community? I mean, not just by throwing events, but what can we do to encourage entrepreneurship and artists? So all of that, I think right now we're going to funnel people into the Legacy Arts Facebook page, and we're going to get a mailing list at some point, because I'm an email guy, and I know that we need to have an email list, and we need to be using that list on a regular basis. And Elisa and Mel just said, screw that guy, we're out of here. And
they're done, dude. They're gone. That's it.
I
said So yeah, follow Legacy Arts on Facebook. Hey, they're back. They wanted a different square, but they were tired of being in the square they were in.
We moved.
No, I love that.
And I think we're going to do these live hangouts periodically as we progress, as construction starts over here, as Jessica and Elisa and Mel and Omar and Kayla get their businesses up and running. We're going to do some live hangouts, and we encourage feedback and comments, and look forward to seeing everybody in person later on this year.
Yes.
Yeah. So over the next 2 weeks, just so you know, if you walk past my office space next to Mark's, you'll see a bunch of desks just all in a pile that is being changed this next 2 weeks. So we have our team coming in on the 26th of this month to finish everything. I'm rewarding them with alcohol, so they'll be there to finish it. But I love on the logo, it says Legacy Arts, and below it says leave your mark. And Kayla, I heard you did this logo. It's beautiful. But I love that leave your mark. So I would love, even, if you have a business here, you have a dream that you're doing, and or even maybe you've seen something in Lima that you just are really excited about, like maybe even start that hashtag leave your mark Lima. Like, I'm going to, I just shared that here for people to just share stories and cool things that you see in Lima, that we can shed light, not only what we're doing, but what you guys are doing too. Because this isn't just an us thing. This is like a movement thing of really just re-energizing and getting the vibe of Lima back to what I feel like really our community needs, of just this positive and encouraging, life-giving mindset versus just being negative. So
well, I do want to point out too, Jessica, you said it's bigger than us. Jennifer and Sarah from Shop for Good and the Meeting Place are still involved with Legacy Arts, even though they've moved into their Shop for Good has moved into their renovated space in the Meeting Place, which is an awesome space. I honestly think it's better looking than what they had over here in my space. So I'm happy for them. But that's kind of, Jennifer and I talked about that ahead of time. And Legacy Arts doesn't necessarily have to be restricted to one location. And so definitely the Meeting Place is part of Legacy Arts. Shop for Good is part of Legacy Arts. And hopefully we'll be adding some more businesses as we move forward.
Love it. Love it. And Lisa, Mel, when can we learn more about you, and when will you be set up, do you think? Is there a timeline that we can come and get your wine?
We're hoping Mel's going to work on our Facebook page and kind of get that situated. been all kind of
It just all
Yeah, it's all
happens.
happened. Like the universe stuck us there, and there we are. And so we're trying to catch up with with it. But we hope to be open by April. But we'll start getting our stuff together and kind of getting our vision of our little space and Mark's space and Angie's and the space. And we don't really know what it's going to look like. So it's probably going to be quirky, I think.
But yes,
I
I'll be working.
Mhm.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'll be working on our social media and getting all that stuff ready to go so people can start seeing us and finding us and following all the excitement and developments.
And we have, anybody that has any ideas of collaboration, we would love to collaborate with comic books and this and that and music and artists. And I'm going to have to feed people. So I do want to, definitely keep me, when artists come, we need to feed them. And so I think there's going to be a really nurturing energy throughout the whole entire building, I think.
I think
Lots of good
artists and musicians are going to be busting down the door to play at the lab, because maybe we can arrange some sort of pre-event dinner that Elisa prepares. And we have a great green room on Jessica's side of the business, and it's having the park next door. We're going to have like a waiting list for bands wanting to play here. That's my dream.
I love it. I love it.
We've worked for 2
Absolutely.
years.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun.
You should get your food, for sure. Yeah, and that's everyone. All creatives will come for food and alcohol. Both of those you got covered. So let's
Got that
be- for sure. And Omar, what is something you and Kayla are most excited about working on next, and where can people find out more?
Definitely. So, right now we are using the space that is going to be like fully constructed out in the next couple months. But it's really amazing because it's like we're working on projects from an artist like D.L. Burden, who is, an established singer-songwriter who's been, a world traveler and been in amazing bands like Former Cellmates and Leatherface, to also working and developing artists with like their first time recording, their first time playing shows. So we're kind of like running this, spectrum of different experiences and all in one place. So honestly, it's like what Mark is saying, is already happening in terms of people coming to town and being like, wait, in the back of the comic book shop, wait, there's going to be wine sold? People are already excited to experience it.
It's been an experience already, and it's just going to continue to be a better one as it goes on. Like Omar said, we're working with a lot of different artists, and you can check all of them out at rescagerecords.com. Also, we're releasing videos every week. Every Monday, we're releasing things on our Facebook page too, so you can see and stay up with what we're doing there.
That's right. Shout out to Logan Ross. Shout out to Jasmine Gore, Kevin Ashba, Nick Piper, DL, Ariel, Glass Rosie. Yeah.
And we're really excited. Logan has a song called "Too Much Wine," so we've got to get with you guys and do "Too Much Wine."
Oh yeah, definitely. Too much wine. Wine sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to wish happy birthday to my mom, who is hopefully watching.
Who's fans of everyone here?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Mom. No, I love it. You guys are doing so much creative stuff, and I've just loved watching the new artists. I'm like fangirling over all of them every time I hear their music come out. And I know one of my team members, John, has just raved about working with you guys and helping with some video stuff. And so I'm just excited to really just use the skills that all my team members have to shine the light more on you guys. I've already been interviewing some more writers and stuff like that to help just share this story out, and that's going to help everyone else that's part of it. So I'm just really excited. I'm as any of you that are from Lima, just get excited about what's to come here and just shining the light on everyone that's here. And any way that you want to be connected, definitely please let us know. We would love to have your support and just energy into all the good that is coming. I think it's something all of us need right now. Churning this around 2021, it's going to be a great year, I think, for our community. So thanks, everyone. I know we just wanted to pop on here impromptu and just talk about what all is to come. This is definitely not going to be our last live stream. We're going to be the first just to share some insight into what we all got going on and while we're all doing it together, and just to sprinkle some ideas out there for others if they're wanting to collaborate with other business owners that may be aligned with their vision, and give them that permission to say, yeah, it's okay. It does work, even when it doesn't sound like it does. I promise you, it's going to be great. So we'll leave everyone back with their Sunday evening now, and just wish all of you guys an amazing rest of your week. And I look forward to seeing all you guys soon in the Legacy Arts District.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.